you are looking for results, you're going to have to change your behavior, you're going to have to change your habits, and you're going to have to make some adaptations. If you do not do those things, if you do not shift towards that better version of you, then you're going to continue down the loophole and continue doing the same things that you're doing, getting the same results. And we're back to the Noble and Nourished podcast. I'm your host, Chase Williams, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And today we're going to go over basically how to drop 20 pounds in less than 6 months, the holistic and sustainable way. Now, I was in a conversation with one of my best friends last week, and she had shared with me that she has actually put on 35 pounds in the last 2 years. And she's like, well, I just have to start tracking. And it got me thinking how women just think, oh, like, I know about macros and I know how to track, so I'm just going to go track all my food and I'm good to go. And so I wanted to break down kind of what the steps I would put a client through and how to actually drop 20 pounds in less than 6 months in a holistic and a sustainable way. So I want to let you guys know before I jump into this, I actually have not personally been overweight. I have been in I went from cheer in high school and then stayed active all through college and then had a really unhealthy relationship with food and barely ate. I wouldn't say I had a condition, but there was definitely some lingering food issues there. And the only time I personally have gone through a transition where I've actually dropped 20 pounds on a personal level has been postpartum through all 3 babies. I am 5 foot tall. And as I had my 3 babies, every single time I usually sit around, like on average, I'm usually around that 125, 130 mark. Okay. After babies, I would shoot up, or during babies and growing babies, I would shoot up to around 170 and 180. My middle one, I gained so much during my middle one for some reason. I don't know. She was almost 10 pounds. So maybe that was why. But I want to remind you that, or let you know that, like, I personally do not have a history or even put my own body through it other than postpartum. And so I do want to share with you how my clients see success and what I do with my methods and how I walk my clients through dropping weight in a holistic, sustainable way. Because I do not believe that we need to go to extreme measures. We do not need to take everything out of our diets. But I do know, like, as you progress in your health and fitness journey and your nutrition journey, there has to be a progression. And going all in every single time, all or nothing mindset, doesn't get you anywhere. Because what that does is, if you have a week or so where you did not feel that you were all or nothing, you feel like a failure. And that is basically what the women go through and what women I work with personally and what they experience with going all in. And a lot of times they're going to say, well, if I don't go all in, or if I don't go do everything all at once, I'm not going to be successful. And I'm like, okay, if you're not going to be successful, well, how is that really truly working out for you? Because it sounds like you keep trying to do this over and over and over again. And what does Einstein say? Like, doing those things over and over again is basically insanity, right? Doing something to an extreme, or like getting not the same results or not the results that you're wanting, is insanity, right? And so why are we going to do that? So today we're going to go over exactly what those things are. And I've got 5 steps that I'm going to share with you, and what I put my clients through and how I help them shift this as well, where it feels like you can do it, right? Not like you can, like you can drop 20 pounds in less than 6 months, and it is totally doable. And you don't feel like you're deprived of anything. Now, I will say, before we jump into all these quick little tips, I will say that if you are looking for results, you're going to have to change your behavior, you're going to have to change your habits, and you're going to have to make some adaptations. If you do not do those things, and if you do not shift towards that better version of you, then you're going to continue down the loophole and continue doing the same things that you're doing, getting the same results. So there has to be somewhat of a shift. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to make this my goal, but then not change any of your habits. There has to be some changes, and there has to be some audits and edits along the way. Okay. Want to say why this approach is different. Real food, simple actions, no extreme measures, right? No shakes, no shots, Nothing along those lines. Like, we're really just going to dial in on what you can do without having to have those extreme measures. Okay. Now, number one, I will say this over and over again. You're going to have to know why you're doing what you're wanting to do. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months? And that starts with understanding, why do you want to lose weight? And having that superficial goal, like, oh, I just want to fit into the dress for the wedding, my daughter's getting married, or my best friend's getting married, right? Like those things, like if you're just wanting to fit into a dress, that's not going to keep you moving forward past the event. You're like, oh, I got to the event, I did the things, go back to old habits. And so that's going to not, again, you guys, I told you it's going to be a holistic and sustainable way. It's not going to be sustainable if you're only working towards fitting into that dress that one day, okay, for that one event. Dig deeper, whether that's a healthier example for your kids. I want to reduce my stress, or I want to improve my long-term health. I want to be healthy long-term, right? These things don't happen overnight. You getting to the condition, into the space that you're in right now where you feel like chronic fatigue, you feel like added weight, you did not get there overnight. And so do not expect these results to follow suit overnight. So you got to know why you're doing this. So move away from that, I need to lose weight fast, to I want long-lasting change. I want to live a lifestyle of fitness and nutrition. I want to embrace this new identity in fitness and nutrition, right? And embrace that idea of that the idea that sustainable weight loss is going to take time, and it is building lifelong habits. Yes, the weight loss comes first, then you level up and start making other different goals along the lines. But first, it starts with getting healthy, creating good habits, and eating the right foods. And next step, you guys know I always give you action steps, right? And so each one of these little steps, I'm going to give you an action step. Here is your action for reflecting and setting your why. I want you to write down your reasons and keep it as a visual reminder to stay focused through those tough moments when you just want to give up. Okay. Write it down on your mirror, write it down in your car, put it on your screen for your phone. Do something where you can see those words on the daily. All right. Step number 2, focus on protein and produce. Protein and produce. I'm sure you hear it all the time. And if you're following a few fitness influencers, they probably won't shut up about the freaking protein, but it's for real. Like if you want to see weight loss, you need to prioritize eating more whole, real foods. That's lean proteins, vegetables, fruits. That's going to keep you fuller longer, stabilize your blood sugar, help your body burn fat more efficiently. You don't need to follow like a huge, hardcore, strict plan. You really just have to prioritize the protein, right? Because you want to make sure that you're putting on the muscle so that you can start leaning out and burning more fat or burning more calories throughout the day because you have more muscle on your body. And then your produce is going to give you all of the things. You've got your fiber, you've got your vitamins, you're fuller longer, all of those things. And so you want to make sure that you are prioritizing real whole foods. And next step here, I want you to stop thinking about foods in this like category of good, bad, clean, dirty, yucky, well, healthy, not healthy, right? Focus on how your body needs to be nourished, how your body is making, or how your mind is going to be making good, dense, nutrient dense choices instead of restriction. I'm not going to lie, I had 3 cookies yesterday afternoon and I did not feel one bit of guilt doing it. But guess what I also had all day yesterday? I had 3 full meals with like 40 grams of protein every single meal. And I had another snack that was like a berry fruit bowl. And so I just want to remind you that just because you had the 3 cookies doesn't make your results not going to happen, right? But how can that cookie, I'm just going to say here, how can that cookie have better ingredients? Like I think there was 6 ingredients in that one cookie versus like an Oreo, which is probably 20? I don't know. I haven't looked at an Oreo pack in like forever, but you get my deal here, right? Okay, action step. Start each meal with protein and veggies, right? Build your meal with the protein and veggies first, and you can still have carbs and fats, but build your plate on those starter pieces and then add in the carbs, add in the fats, and then keeping the protein and veggies as a foundation and aiming for at least 100 grams of protein per day. And you're probably like, wait, but how do I do that? We're going to get into that in another episode, but I just want you to think, how can I make sure that I'm getting protein at every single meal and every single snack? Next up, number 3, Implement movement in a routine that you enjoy. So, exercise, you guys know, is going to be the key to weight loss, right? It's not just about burning calories, it's a mixture of having strength training, resistance training, daily movement, steps, like activity that is going to increase your metabolism and help you build muscle. So then you're losing and dropping fat, right? You have fat loss because you have more muscle and you're moving more throughout the day. Now, is that the only thing? No. You have to be in a caloric deficit. You have to be fueling your body with the nutrition that we talked a second ago. But you really want to make sure that you're finding something that you love, that you enjoy, to ensure that you're going to be consistent over the coming months. If you are going to crucial, or I don't even know if that's the right word, if you're going to workouts where you dread going, or if you're like, oh my gosh, you're at a spin class and you only halfway do the workout, meaning like she's like, sprint, and you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna sprint, right? Like if you are not enjoying the workouts, stop. Find something that you actually enjoy and that you love. Because if you're not enjoying the progress or enjoying the results or seeing progress in the workouts that you're doing, like you're not going to show up for them. And so if you're just starting at this part, like find something you love first, and then you can level up in getting better at whatever you're enjoying, loving doing, right? Now, I will say that if you're following a resistance training and a strength training type program, you're going to see results faster. And so again, on this episode, we're talking about how to lose 20 pounds in less than 6 months, at least, right? It could happen sooner, but I'm going to give you a 6-month mark here because there's probably going to be a couple of weeks where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? And trying to figure it out. So shift from have to work out to I get to move my body. I get to work out, right? And when you start flipping the script there and changing up how you're reframing how you're saying things, your body actually doesn't look at it as a punishment. It looks at it as a privilege, right? Like it is exciting. I am rewarding my body. I am like enjoying this. And consistency is going to trump intensity day in and day out. So just because you did 2 weeks of HIIT workouts 6 days a week does not mean that you're going to see better results over the next 6 months than if you were to do 4 workouts, strength build, progressive workouts over 6 months consistently. Okay, so it's more important to stay active in the ways that you enjoy it than pushing through like horrible, grueling workouts that you actually don't enjoy. So find something you love first, then you can continue leveling up from there. Next up, you want to commit to 3 to 4 days of strength training, like I said a second ago. So this is your action step: strength training, resistance training, hypertrophy, something along those lines. And making sure that you're getting in at least 30 minutes of like focus training, right? Strength training, like that piece, right? And then on top of that, making sure that you are doing family walks, you're getting some steps in, you're taking the stairs instead of parking super close to the grocery store, like all of those things that you can progressively get better at them over time, but start small and then increase it as it becomes part of who you are. Next up, number 4, sleep, hydrate, manage your stress. I know that was like 4 things all at once or 3 things all at once, but I promise you that if you are sleeping, you're hydrating, and your stress are in control, that you are going to see faster weight loss. And a lot of the times these are spaces. So in my first program inside my coaching program, this is actually something I only touch on for a hot second because it's something I prioritize in my next level programs. The first level program is about some of the little bit more of the fundamentals, and then we touch on these things and then we improve on them in my next level programs. But inside of core, my first level program is really where we kind of just touch on this, right? So we've got poor sleep, we've got high stress levels, you've got hormone imbalances, your body is holding on to fat, like you are just all over the place because you don't have any of these things in control. Some days you sleep 4 hours, some days you sleep 8 hours, some days you're waking up at 5 a.m., some days you're waking up at 7 when your kids wake you up. Like all of those things have to be in alignment. And then when you've said yes to way too many things, you've got 50 million things on your plate and your stress levels are out of control, like you are going to really like feel that in your body, and you're going to feel this heaviness. And so instead of like seeing rest as it's unproductive, and hey, I'm going to be the first person to raise my hand right here because I struggle with resting so much. I super struggle. Like my husband's like, oh, just hang out with us and the family. And I'm like, No, like I need a task list, I need a to-do list. And you know what that actually creates? Like I feel it in my brain, I feel it in my body. But if I slow down and really start recognizing it as a foundation for weight loss, a foundation for this long life, longevity, like I'm actually honoring what my body needs for recovery and for relaxation. And I'm not adding that extra heightened stress onto my kids, right? So your action step here in number 4, sleep, hydrate, and manage stress, is making sure that you are going to sleep at the same time every night. You know the drill. Drink your water daily, right? At least half your body in ounces and, or no, your body weight in ounces. Like if you weigh 130, drink 130 ounces. Like, whatever. Actually, I'm sorry. That is not accurate. Okay. So action step here, prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Drink at least your body weight in ounces. Oh my gosh, I keep saying your body weight. It is not your body weight. I've said that like 3 times and I've had to record this like 10 times. Okay, no, you're not drinking your full body weight. You're drinking half your body weight in ounces. I usually use the protein as a gauge for your goal body weight. So if your goal body weight is 130, I would say, okay, try to aim for 130 grams of protein. And so I've been trying to say this whole like drink your water. And when you drink your water, you want to do half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 120, you want to drink 60 ounces of water. Okay. Took me a few times to say that. Here we go. Moving on. So, and then you also want to make sure that you're incorporating stress reducing habits. Are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you doing deep breathing exercises when needed? And you know what's funny is when I get all hyped up, guess what my kids do? Mom, let's just take a breath. Mom, let's just do big, deep breaths, big, deep breaths. And so they're going to see you doing that as well. And guess what? You're setting them up for. Yes. Okay. Step number 5, practice patience and consistency. Okay. Patience. Okay. I pray for patience all the time. But goal is here, when you're looking for long-term weight loss, it's not about perfection. It's about showing up consistently, even when you feel like you're not making any progress or progress feels super slow. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I just recorded an episode where I talk about what to do when progress isn't really, you're not seeing progress, or it feels like you're in a slump. So go check that out. I'll actually link it in the show notes below. But you're building habits that will not only help you lose 20 pounds, but you're going to be able to carry it to your next goal, right? You're going to be able to take those habits and those fundamental things that you have created and implement them down the road. So let go of that quick fix mentality, right? Let go of that like all or nothing, and accept the fact that there's going to be plateaus, there are going to be slower weeks, there's going to be harder weeks, and it's part of the process. Focus on what you're gaining. Focus on the confidence. Focus on those wins, those smaller things. Your confidence, your energy. I'm leading a healthier lifestyle. I'm making better choices. Action step here is to track your progress in non-scales ways. Again, things that I actually encourage my clients to do, and making sure that it's not just about inches lost, right? It's not about just the weight on the scale. But when you start tracking things like inches, your energy levels, how your clothes are fitting, the fact that you could do a push-up on your toes now, or your squat has gotten lower, or you added extra weight to your overhead press, right? You're sleeping better, your clothes feel amazing. Celebrate the small wins along the way, okay? So recap, you got 5 steps, and really keeping in mind here, number 1, you got to really focus on that why. Why are you doing it? What is that deep meaning? Number 2, focus on that protein and produce at every single meal. Implement your movement routine that you love. Make sure that you love it. And then number 4 is going to be sleep, hydrate, and your stress levels. Really make sure you're managing it and you're doing things that align and making sure that you're seeing improvement in those spaces. And then practice patience and consistency. Guys, you know the drill. If you love today's episode, make sure you subscribe and follow along so that more women just like you can follow and find the show. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me, Chase Williams, on today's episode of the Noble and Nourished podcast. And I hope today's episode has encouraged you and empowered you to take action in your fitness and nutrition journey with your walk with Jesus. Until next time, stay noble, stay nourished, and let's create a household of health.